All righty, good evening. Thank you guys for coming out. The time right now is 6:30, and I want to be respectful of your time. My name is Shay Whitaker. If I have not had the opportunity to speak to you or meet you, I'm the principal of Cedar Hill High School. We have Chef Goss, who is one of our senior sponsors. Your scholars have been on several events with him, so he's here tonight. Our primary responsibility, and then we have Mr. Neely, who is recording. So we will send out a recording, we will send out the presentation, so you have access to everything we discuss on tonight. So the first thing we want to go through are our graduation updates. I know that's one of the big things you guys want to hear about, and as soon as we found out about them, we wanted you to be aware. So we will cover the venue expectations, special seating arrangements, scholar expectations, and dress code. So if you don't know, we graduate Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. at the Mansfield Performing Arts Center. There will be 8 tickets per family as of today. That number can go up depending on when we do and certify our final list. Right now, our numbers are based on a graduating class of 515. If that number goes down, then that obviously increases the number of tickets that we can give out. But as of today, our number is 8 tickets according to the capacity of the venue. So if you have friends that go to collegiate and they get 13 tickets, that's because they really only have about 75 graduates. So the less graduates you have, the more tickets you can get because you're not expecting as many people. So as of right now, the magic number is 8. Every person over 2 years old needs a ticket. So we can't bring a 5-year-old and they not have a ticket. Everybody needs a ticket. One of the big things we want you to know about is that the Performing Arts Center, if you have not been there before, is deep into Mansfield. It's not just right down the hill on the backside of Lake Ridge. So the first time I went, I only planned about 15 minutes to get there. It took me about 45 minutes with traffic. Remember, you may hit some traffic. Directions typically take you off of 287. So I want you to be able to plan accordingly 30 to 45 minutes of travel time so you guys don't miss the start and the march in. So it's not just 15 minutes. Plan about 30 to 45 minutes to get there. The venue does not allow balloons or flowers, so they will turn you around. So save those for outside of the venue. You will not be able to bring in balloons or flowers. And you also will not be able to bring in any noisemakers, air horns, bells, things like that. So please don't bring those because those will be confiscated. And we don't want you to have any issues. We want you to have a stress-free evening. But remember, those things are not allowed in the venue. Special seating. There are special opportunities for individuals who may be in a wheelchair or have mobility issues. You will also have for divorced families or split families, if it's not amicable, and we already know that, you'll need to contact us and let us know. That does not increase your tickets. That just allows us, if at your request, to split the family if that's what we need to do to make sure everybody has a good evening. If you have twins or a blended family, we ask that you let us know that so that we can try and arrange your ticket so that we don't have the family split into 2 different sections. We'll make sure we take care of the whole family and seat you all together. One of the things you need to know about the venue is it will be like going to a game. It is assigned seating. So it's not like going to College Park or the convention center where first come, first serve. Your ticket number is assigned, so seats are assigned. So you have to make sure you sit in your assigned seat. So it's very important if you have twins or blended families that you let us know so we don't have one part of your family sitting in the 100s and the other part sitting in the 800s. That's why you want to let us know that. If you have anyone that's hearing impaired, we need to know that, so we sit them in a special section as well. We will be sending out to you this week in our newsletter a form to fill out for assigned seating. That is due to us by April 8th so that we can begin to sort tickets based on your request. So you want to make sure that you adhere to that. And these are the only situations that require assigned seating: wheelchairs and mobility, divorced or split families, twins and blended families, and hearing impaired. One note, cousins does not count as blended families or twins. Only twins and blended families count for ticket reasons. So for our scholars, a couple of non-negotiables, listen very carefully. We will be taking buses to Mansfield. Scholars must ride the bus. It is a non-negotiable for a couple of reasons. When we arrive at the venue, scholars will be in alphabetical order. Once we get there, we will sit them in the order in which they will graduate. So if they're not there with us, that will mess up our line order. When they sit on the bus, they sit in alphabetical order. When they exit the bus, they have to exit a certain way, so they enter in alphabetical order, because collegiate graduates right before we do. So we won't have time to get 515 students in alphabetical order. That's why we will take care of all of that here on campus, and once we leave, they'll stay in alphabetical order, so they'll be ready for their graduation order. They will need to arrive at 3:30, between 3:30 and 4:30. Buses will leave at 4:30, because remember, just driving in a vehicle for us took me 30 minutes. We have to be at the venue at 5:30. So we have to be there 2 hours ahead of time so they can get us seated, arranged. There'll be a quick dry run for our students, and then we'll wait to graduate. Because we have to be there 2 hours early, we have to leave here an hour early so we're not late arriving. So please make sure, as you plan appointments, as you plan family festivities, that will be the day after Memorial Day. Please make sure your scholar is here on time. We will not be running back and forth, pushing doors open, letting scholars in, because you have to remember, we're focused on making sure everybody is in order. We're rehearsing, so we won't be running back and forth to the doors, letting anybody in. Make sure they are here no later than 4:30 when we pull off. And remember, for scholars, as we practice, the reason is their seats are assigned. So I may not get to sit with my best friend because that's not who I'm in line with alphabetically. Everything we do from the moment we leave here is set for when we start graduation. So they sit in a certain order, they get off in a certain order from the moment we leave here. So we need that time to make sure everybody is in place. There is a dress code. First thing, there are no jeans allowed. If you have jeans, we will ask you to change clothes. Bus is still leaving at 4:30. There are no exceptions. Please make sure you do not wear jeans. You must wear dress shoes, so there are no flip-flops, no slides, no Crocs, no fuzzy slippers. We must be in dress shoes. Boys will have dress pants, shirt, and a tie under their robes. No hoodies, no t-shirts, no shorts. That is the dress code. Their graduation caps cannot be decorated in any way. They're just wearing their regular graduation caps. They will not have their cell phone. I'm going to repeat. They will not have their cell phone because they can't walk with anything in their hands across the stage. You have to remember, they're going to shake hands, they're going to get their diploma. So if they have something in their hand, what are they going to do with it? The robe does not have pockets. So they will not have their cell phones on them. The other reason is, as we're giving directions, they have got to pay attention to what we're saying, because if they miss it, everything is strictly timed. When we get there, we're running through a quick rehearsal. we will not have time for them to be texting and not paying attention. So make sure they know when we get ready to walk across that stage, they're not pulling out phones or anything like that. There is a place where you will be able to take pictures. So the ushers there will help you know when it's your time to get up and take pictures with your student. So you will have that opportunity. But again, there are no late arrivals. What time is everybody due here to get ready? 3:30. What time do we leave? 4:30. We have to be in Mansfield at what time? 5:30. Graduation starts promptly at 7:30. Keep those times. So that is essentially what graduation looks like. What you will start to receive next week is a list of preliminary graduates. Some students may not be on that list if they are working through credit recovery, if they're working through attendance recovery, if they're in any way uncertain, they won't be on that list yet. Doesn't mean they won't make the list, but we're going to start sending out the list so that you know what position your scholar is in. So I want to go through quickly for those individuals who may be in attendance recovery, which means you passed the class, but you skipped class so much that credit was denied, so now you owe time. So if that's your scholar, we're going to go through that. If they're in credit recovery, they may have failed the class and need to recover credit. We'll go through that. Twilight School, EOC retests, and IGCs, which you may hear them talking about a project. That's what the project is, so we want to give you updates on that. The first thing we ask is make sure you have your current email address, your current phone number in Skyward. As we communicate, everything is coming through whatever information we have in Skyward. So any changes and updates to graduation or senior requirements, that's where we're pulling information. We've had a couple of parents call and say they're not getting it, and they discover that their email address is not correct in Skyward. So I don't want anybody to miss anything. So if you happen to change phone numbers or you have an email that you don't necessarily check, make sure you use the right email address and phone number so you're getting all the information. Ms. Fields does a really good job of sending me in the weekly newsletters updates just for seniors. That's how you'll keep abreast of what's going on each week. Skyward notifications. That link will be live. There's a 2-minute video that shows you if you're not sure how to turn on notifications for attendance and absences. This is critical. Some of our seniors are doing okay. They may decide to get senioritis and stop going to class. If they pass the class and decide to start skipping, they will be denied credit. That's called attendance recovery. Please turn your notifications on so you can get the phone calls and the emails that tell you your scholar is not in class. You do not want to wait till the last minute and we deny credit because they've skipped class too many times. So please turn your notifications on. Same thing with tardies. We do not want to run into an issue because you weren't aware that they weren't going to class and they were being late. So please watch that video if you need to. Any grades less than 70, please turn that notification on so you will know whether or not they are passing or failing. They're going to have an earlier cutoff for grades than everybody else because, of course, we have to go look in, make sure everybody passed so we can certify the list. So please make sure you're paying attention to missing assignments and discipline. Please make sure you're paying attention to discipline. Some seniors get senioritis. We don't want them to do anything that pushes them over to DAEP. Please make sure your notifications are on so that you know exactly what is going on at all times. So again, attendance recovery, go back and look at their report card. If it has an asterisk, if you haven't looked already, that means credit was denied because they have not spent enough time in class. Typically, that's third and seventh period. That's the lunch period. I want to be with my friends. Second semester is not that time. Go to class. You will get an email from Jayla Berry. Attendance hearings are held by Mr. Petty, and those meetings start after school, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3:55 to 5:55. We have several seniors who have not started making up time. Please double check your student's report card from marking period 3. That's the end of the first semester. If they owe time, they need to get their time made up. The first Saturday of the month, 8:30 to 12:30, and they must complete their time, and once they do, credit is granted. Some seniors came in, took care of business, they're done with that. Others have not started. Make sure if you have a senior who owes time, they do not wait until the last minute. If they owe time, of course, they must complete that this semester. So for example, my student in the spring passed their calculus class, but they skipped class, so they lost credit. They don't get credit, they don't walk. Please make sure your students are going to class every day so they don't get caught in attendance recovery. If they already know they owe time, they need to be staying after school because there won't be any additional days added. There won't be any special arrangements because the ladies are here every Tuesday and Thursday right now. Make sure they make up their time. For credit recovery, Ms. Sewell and Mr. Harper are those two teachers who oversee our credit recovery. That happens during the school day in a course called Ingenuity. They send out weekly progress reports. If your scholar is in credit recovery, number one, make sure they're going. We do have seniors that skip credit recovery. So if they don't get that credit, they don't graduate. They could be making up courses from freshman year. You want to monitor to make sure that they are on track. If they don't finish in time, they don't graduate. We'll invite them in August. We don't want you to have any surprises. Set your notifications. They can work at home, so they don't even have to just work here. They have access to that program 24 hours a day. They can do whatever work they need to do if they're in credit recovery. Again, monitor their attendance in Skyward with the notifications. Look for their credit recovery class, make sure that they're going, make sure they're progressing. Mr. Harper and Ms. Sewell's email addresses are there. If you have questions, email them. They will be happy to share the progress. For seniors, May 20th is your drop dead deadline. They've given the seniors until I think May 5th. May 20th is when we pull all senior grades, all senior credits, all senior credit recovery, all senior Twilight School, all senior attendance. We will certify the graduation list by May 25th. If they're not finished by May 20th, we will see them in the summer. We have to have time to go through and certify the list. So I understand that we've had people that have completed it that morning. Will I get to walk? You won't, because remember, everything is set. Programs are printed, lines are in order, seats are assigned. It's too late. May 20th is the deadline. We are roughly 70 days away from May 20th. Plenty of time to finish. Don't wait until the last minute. May 20th is their deadline. Twilight School is basically students who stay after school to do credit recovery. We don't have enough seats for everybody to do it during the day. Same rules apply. Make sure you set notifications. Make sure they're actually attending. But they have to be progressing. Again, May 20th is their deadline to recover all of their credits. If they have STAR EOC retests, this is a big one. 9th graders. Some seniors are still working from 9th grade. There are 3 tests that they take. 10th grade English 2, 11th grade U.S. history. These are their required tests. There's no way around that other than the project, which we'll talk about. There are strict requirements for that. So if you know your scholar needs to retest, make sure that they are studying. I'll share some tools in a moment. We take retests in April and in May. So their retest opportunities were summer, fall, and December, April 5th through the 8th. So if you know your scholar needs English 1 or English 2, the week of April 5th through the 8th is when they will have their last chance to retest before summer. They must pass in order to walk. So double check calendars, double check with your scholars. If you know they need English 1 or English 2, their last opportunity to retest will be April 5th through the 8th. If they need Algebra 1, Biology, or U.S. History, their last opportunity will be May 3rd through the 6th. Please check your calendars, check with your scholars. Those are their last retest dates in order for us to get the information back to know that they have passed those required assessments. So please, please make sure they are here, present, they've signed up for tutoring, and they are attending. Make sure they're attending class. Once we get close to tests, a lot of our teachers in the departments will stop teaching other subjects to help our retesters. If they're walking the halls, then they're not getting that retest help. So if your scholar needs to retest, make sure they are in class. Now, the individual graduation committee, this is the project that you may hear about. Those meetings will happen March 21st through the 25th. The invitations will start coming out Thursday and Friday. Those are meetings where your scholar will be notified that they qualify if they have not failed more than 2 ELCs. So if there's a total of 5. If they fail more than 2, they don't qualify for the project. They have to take the test. They have to at least retest. We've run into a situation where U.S. history is the last test they take. Some students have never tried to take that test, which means we can't qualify them for the project. So if they didn't take it in the fall, last spring, they didn't take it in the summer, and they didn't take it in December, they have to take it this spring. They do not qualify for the project. So you have to at least attempt to take the test. With the project, they'll be given a date where they have to come and present. So they'll be given all the information, they'll be given the date they present, it'll go before the committee, and it must be a unanimous vote. So the project's not a simple project, but it will qualify if they have failed the test, and they qualify as long as they meet those requirements. They must meet the deadline. So look for, if you have a scholar, March 21st through 25th, councils have already started meeting. Some may already know they qualify, but those meetings will take place as soon as we get back from spring break. In order to help them get ready for EOC tests, again, make sure that they are in class. Tutoring dates, we've already begun, so we're down to March 9th and 10th, and the dates in April. And that will take us right up into EOC testing. Attendance and tutoring, no more than 2 absences. So if your scholar's attending, they're doing fine. If they miss more than 2 days, we pull them off the roster and we'll pull somebody else in from the wait list because we only have so many teachers. So please make sure if they are attending, they're attending every week. If they need to practice, these links are live. This is what the site looks like. And you will be able to practice with them with old STAR tests. Yes, ma'am. And remember, when you get the presentation, the blue, just click that link. It's going to take you right to this page, and you want students and families. You ready? Good. When you get to that page, you'll be able to see all of their old EOC tests. You'll be able to see their scores. You'll just sign in as a guest, And you'll be able to see how long the tests are, you'll be able to see the actual questions, you'll be able to see the format, and they can practice as many times as they want. So we highly recommend you go to that site so you can see exactly what they're going to see. If you need the access code, when you get to this page, if you go right down there at the bottom, look up access code, that's where you'll go. You'll type in their birthday, social security number, it'll give you their code, so don't panic. Just follow those directions so you'll be able to get to their scores. And this is what it looks like. You'll be able to see if they were absent or they do not meet. If they do not meet, that means that's a test that's still hanging out there. If it says approaches, meets, or masters, they're good, they passed. So you're looking for anything that says did not meet, that means that's a test that needs to be passed. You will be able to see how close they were, what levels they struggled with, and what areas they may need help on. But again, they can practice as many times as they need to. If you need to talk to a counselor, alphabets A through DE or Miss Jenkins Wade. DI through Johnson is Miss Burns. Bonnie Baker is Jones through RM. RO through Z is Miss I. ECA and Strive counselor is Miss Mercy. And Miss Matthews does our college and career readiness and helps with scholarships. That is her contact information. And then these are our administrators for freshmen. Well, you guys are more concerned with 12th grade. Miss Kennedy is the senior administrator. Credit recovery in Twilight School is Mr. Williams. Attendance recovery is Mr. Petty. Any of those individuals can help you if you have a scholar in that situation. If you do not have a scholar in that situation, you don't have to worry about it. You want to make sure they don't put themselves in that situation. These last few days, when we get back from spring break, we will have about 9 weeks of school left. It will go quickly. Feels like we just got back. Make sure they go to class, not be late. Do the work, submit it on time, so we do not find ourselves at the very end and they're failing the course because they haven't taken care of their business. So please make sure once spring break is over, they come in focused and ready. When we get back from spring break, there's 2 weeks, and they'll be taking the English ELC. There'll be 3 days when we have a break going into Easter. When they get back, there's 2 more weeks, and they'll be taking their last ELC test. It's going to go quickly. So please make sure that they are taking care of all their business. They're doing their credit recovery, attendance recovery if they need to, so they will be ready for graduation. And with that, I'm sure, are there any questions? Yes, Jalen, how are you?
I have a question about structure. Okay, so you said all the 12th graders have to pass STAR test to graduate?
You would have to pass your test, but you don't take them all at the same time. So you took 3 tests as a freshman, 1 test as a sophomore, 1 test as a junior. If you failed any of them, you continue to retest until you pass them. For seniors, their last opportunities are April and May to pass them in order to walk in May.
Okay, what's the army to say I don't have to take the test?
So if you have a special meeting and they exempt you out, then you do not have to take a test. But you'll know if you have special meetings called ARDs and they exempt you from that test. If you have never attended an ARD, you will not start now. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I got one more question. When did you say about the graduation? When did you say that we had to get done when the bus comes and stuff?
Jalen's asking about the bus. So you have to be here at what time? 3:30. Bus leaves at 4:30. We have to be in Mansfield at, graduation starts promptly at 7:30.
Thank you.
You got it. Yes, ma'am, and then I'll come over here.
What is the reason behind in the Horn being letting them decorate the campus?
It's just district policy. Honestly, that's just part of our graduation requirements. She asked what was the harm in letting them decorate their caps, and I told her that was just part of our graduation guidelines given to us from the district. There's no, everything is exactly the way you brought it. So nothing's added, nothing's blinged out, nothing's decorated. It's exactly the way you brought it. There was. Good question. They are not required to ride the bus back. Good question, thank you. I'll add that in the presentation. Remind me, Ms. Cook, I know you will. They are not required to ride the bus back, they just have to ride there so we can keep them all in order. Let me ask her and then I'll come to you.
I was just wondering, I guess it's too late now, but what the decision was made for us to graduate on a Tuesday evening?
That was the last day that they had available.
That's terrible, especially following the holiday. I'm sure a lot of people's family, our kids are going to be out of school for almost a week before they graduate.
That is the last date that they had available. I'm gonna go here and then I'm coming there.
Okay, transcripts were sent out 3 weeks ago. Is that the transcript you use for class rank, or is there another one coming out?
The question is, transcripts came out a few weeks ago. Is that the one we use for rank up until the last transcript? So, if we're talking about valedictorian, salutatorian, depends on how close they are. They still have to get their final grades to get the final transcript. So for ranking, that's the one being used right now. But remember, we're still in this last semester of courses that's going to determine their final place.
So one more.
There is one more because they have to add in all the spring courses.
Okay, perfect.
May 25th. And then I'm coming over here.
Why haven't the kids got their caps and gowns and robes here? What is the problem?
Those come in right before graduation from Jostens. So we're on their timeline. Brad Golden is our representative, but he is the one that Jostens determines when we receive all of our equipment. Not equipment, our attire.
The pictures as well? The pictures as well?
Life Touch does our pictures. Let me check with Ms. Choice. Gosh, will you write that down, check with Ms. Choice to see when their pictures come in?
What about the announcements, especially since they have such a confrontational graduation date? It would be nice to get that information out to relatives and so on
Gotcha.
and so forth.
Are you getting that, Goss? We will check with Brad Golden, our rep, to see when everything is due in. Not a problem. Give me one, let me get over here and I'll come back to you. Young, and the Nike shirt, and then I'll come to you.
When's the last day of school, and our senior, if it's after the 20th, are they required to come after the 20th when final grades and attendance is submitted?
They are required to come because they will count against attendance if they don't. So that's still part of their attendance. Blame the great state of Texas. Didn't used to always be that way, but seniors are still required to come to school. They'll just have alternate activities. So they'll come right up and through the last day of school, which by now you should know is the 26th, not the 25th because of the bad weather makeup days. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, are y'all going to be administrating the TSIs again?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know when? Are they going to email?
We are. They're coming up before we get into April, before we go into ELC testing.
I have a question. Are there tickets?
Oh, I'm sorry. Her question was, would we administer TSI again? And I told her, yes, it'll be before April. And then the other question was about, did you hear about the transcripts?
No.
The question was, are we using the transcripts that we just got for class rank? The answer is yes, but we still have one more transcript to count in the spring courses, and that'll be the final rank.
As far as the TSI, is that required?
It's required for students who want to take dual credit courses. TSI, the purpose is when they go to take a college course that determines if they will take a remedial course or they can go right into college courses. So the whole point is to give them an opportunity to get a score so you don't have to waste money paying for a remedial course. They can go right into their college level courses.
What was on the first slide for people that were standing in line? We didn't see that first 1 or 2 slides. Was it about just the amount of tickets you got?
Right, the first slide talked about the amount of tickets, which is 8, but I'm going to share the whole presentation with everybody, so you'll have exactly what was on that slide and the recording and these questions.
Great, thank you.
Did you have a question?
My son was told cap and gown, they're gonna get the week, when they come back from spring break, that has changed.
It may not have. I just need to double check with Chef Goss. I won't make that statement. It may not have changed. I'll just double check.
Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon. Hey, just a question on cap and gowns from the representative. I talked to him, and he said he will give you email blasts right after spring break. Only thing he's waiting on is all that invitation stuff to come in, because he want to give it to you one thing, not just a gown, you come back. So please, 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 check emails, check our page. We put all the updates on there weekly. Okay? Thank you.
This is probably for Chef Goff, since he works with the senior feed thing. My senior was having problems with the personalized photo thing getting scheduled. Have y'all really resolved that with the new name that's been sent out to schedule those setups?
Email me, but all that's on our senior newsletter, that's a Miss Choice thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I will get with her on that as well, but email me when you have those questions for anything package-wise, okay?
Okay.
So her question was about her scholar was having problems with the personalized photo opportunity. And so Chef Goss, she's going to email Chef Goss so he can get with Ms. Choice, who oversees the personalized photos.
Top 10% of your class, or the top 10, or the top something of your class, or is everybody just the same?
No, the top 12 will graduate in white. They will have special items delivered to them by myself, the superintendent, the cabinet. So there are a few activities for the top 12 students, not the top 12%. So just to distinguish, it's the top 12 students will graduate in white.
Okay, so if that's going off of the transcript they already got, or are they waiting to find that out on May 20th when everything is turned in?
That'll be once we get everybody's final grades in on May 20th, because they still have a semester of courses that they have to pay.
Okay, so next question. If you're already in the top, my kid's number 10 right now, so is he gonna get the special cap and gown when he gets his cap and gown, or is he gonna get a different cap and gown?
It depends on if he finishes in the top 12.
Okay, is he gonna get 2 cap and gowns, or is he gonna get 1?
He'll get one.
Bring it back?
He'll get one. So if they make the top 12, we'll swap out. Yes.
I just want to know, they don't have their phones during graduation. Will there be a certain area where all of them will go, or they'll just spread out after?
Mom's question was, will there be a special place where they go afterwards? When they come out, they'll go out and go to the left, but when we're there, they're going to direct you to where the graduates will go. So they're going to go out, and there's going to be a place on the right where you'll be able to meet all of the graduates. Another thing you should know, when we arrive, during a special holding session, they will not be able to mix and mingle with family or anybody else, because you have to remember, we have to keep them in that order, so there'll be an order for graduation. So everything is based off of when we leave. So they won't be able to run to you or run to the car, anything like that. You won't have any access to them. So please make sure you take care of everything they need before we leave. I'm gonna go here and then there.
Will there be an opportunity to raffle more tickets, or a chance to get more tickets than 8?
It depends on what our final number is. So right now, our number is 515. Okay. If that number goes down, that could increase the number of tickets that we have. If it doesn't, then it's just that flat 8.
When will we find out?
After May 20th. That's once we certify that list, that's how we'll know the exact number of students who will be graduating. The graduation will be streamed live, yes. That link will be shared, yes. The link, the graduation will be streamed.
So will there be a location after May 20th where, let's say, I don't need all 8 tickets, I'm willing to give 5?
So the question was, if I don't need all 8 tickets, will there be a place to say, I don't need mine? The answer is yes. You can let us know, and at that point we can redistribute, but again, we won't know until people say they don't need them. And again, we have to have that final graduation number to determine the final count for tickets. What'd you say, Joe? Oh, where do you come? They will meet in the PAC. We'll have more rehearsals and things coming. I just wanted you to know about that as you make arrangements for hair and dress and family events and things like that. But the graduates will practice here. They'll know their times here. So the closer we get, the more information they'll get about the actual lineup and things like that. But I wanted you to know about getting prepared.
Okay, I know we're talking about the high school graduation. What about the college side?
She's asking about students at dual credit, their graduation. So those that are getting an associate's degree will have 2 graduations. Dallas College will send out all of their information. We don't control that at all. We really just kind of show up. Typically, it's around the 15th. A couple of weeks before we graduate from high school. So they will graduate with their college degree before they get their diploma. There'll be light refreshments, but there won't be a buffet. So you'll want to feed them, but we'll have light refreshments, but there will not be a full buffet for them, no.
So are they allowed to bring anything with them?
They can bring it here, it just won't make it on the bus. Once we get on the bus, we're lining up for graduation. So if you want to send them with a box lunch or Chick-fil-A or whatever, that's more than fine. But once we get on that bus, we're in graduation mode. Because we also don't want them spilling anything on the road and stains and things like that.
So where are they going to keep their person before getting on the bus?
So before they get on the bus, the question was, where do they put their personal items? They're welcome to lock them in their cars, or if somebody wants to pick it up, because remember, they'll be here well before you get to Mansfield. You should just take it from them, because again, they won't go across the stage with a purse hanging or anything like that. So we want to make it as clean as possible. So remember that not to bring a whole lot with you, because you won't be able to hold on to that. Also keep in mind, collegiate graduates right before we do. So you don't want to get there too early, because the doors will still be closed as they are finishing collegiate graduation. They graduate at 5:30. We graduate at 7:30. So if you get there super early, you're going to be right in the middle of collegiate graduation.
So this, you said we'd be at the PSC?
Yes.
Okay, so the bus, is the bus still there, I think it's on May 31st or
On May 31st. So his question was, when would the bus come? It'll be here on May 31st.
You said that when you got to the actual arena that there's assigned seats.
Yes.
For those that have the 8 tickets, right? So that'll be on the ticket?
Yes.
Okay.
The question was, when you get there, since there's assigned seating, will your assignment be on your ticket? Yes, it'll be just like a game, row 100, seat 25. Yes, ma'am, Brooklyn. Girls will wear dress shoes. You can wear a dress, you can wear pants, but no slides, no flip-flops, anything like that.
Okay, so you said we're rehearsing before. How are we gonna do that? But then you also said rehearsals with an S here. So how are we doing now?
Sydney's question was, how will we rehearse? So you will rehearse your lineup, you will rehearse your line order, you will rehearse walking across the stage, what hands to use, shaking hands here in the PAC. That'll be part of that week when you guys are here after the 20th. We'll be rehearsing. When we get there, the venue will rehearse and show them how they'll exit and leave that room in order and how they'll sit on stage, because all the graduates will be on stage behind administration. So it's not like a College Park or Convention Center where you're looking down on them. You're actually going to be looking right at them. They'll all be sitting on stage, so there'll be some practice to show everybody where to go. But our main purpose is to practice so you know, who do I stand behind? How will they pronounce my name? So start thinking about your phonetically correct name. We don't want to mess anybody's name up on graduation. Any other questions?
What's the typical time frame does a graduation of this size last?
No more than 2 hours. And we will do only one side. Sometimes, depending on venue, you can do double sides. We'll come only from one direction. Any other questions? All righty, if there are no more other questions, we'll be here if you have any scholar-specific questions. Let me put the sign-in code so we can send out the PowerPoint to you. Make sure we have your information, read the newsletter because the recording will be in the newsletter. Thank you guys for coming.